Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Engine Builder Show. For today's topic, Gabe will be sharing to us a simple way to grow your business by 20% in over just a year. If you like the sound of that, then you should definitely get ready to listen to today's episode. But before that, as always, this show is brought to you by Business Marketing Engine. If you want to improve and up your business, then you should definitely check out businessmarketingengine.com. Now let me hand it over to our host, Gabe. Hey, Gabe. Good morning.
Good morning, Jethro. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And for whenever you get to tune in all around the world, I appreciate you and appreciate you just taking a few minutes here each day with us because my goal in this show is always just to serve you at the highest level and give you everything that's going to help you be successful in business. Not only do I really enjoy sharing specific kind of principles and approaches and frameworks and things that I use in business that I'm confident will help you as well. But also, I realized over the 20 plus years that I've been an entrepreneur that there's a lot of mindset and personal development and tons of other work that we have to do in order to be to be successful entrepreneurs. A friend of mine says, if you don't have the business, the size business you want yet, it's because you're not the leader that, could handle that kind of business yet. You haven't developed as a leader or haven't grown up to be that type of entrepreneur yet. And I didn't understand that when I was younger, but it's something I definitely understand now. And I know that once you kind of get the basics down of the services you provide and, you kind of get the nuts and bolts handled, scaling a business comes down to growing and developing personally, in my opinion. So anyway, I just appreciate that you're taking time to tune in and listen because I believe that the more that we invest in ourselves, the more that we can serve our teams and our clients, and we can just be really intentional around that. So today, what I want to share with you is this process that I'm going to share with you is what has helped me grow Business Marketing Engine 20% year over year for many years. I think 6 or 7, maybe 8 years now. We've maintained just really consistent growth. This last year was significantly higher growth for a lot of reasons. But over the years, what I'm going to share with you is a consistent process that's worked really well for me, just growing the business year over year. And I'll also say before I get into it, this is not easy. It's simple, and there's a big difference there. And for those of you that have been around me long enough, or even if you're just starting to be a part of my online family here, I don't go after, get rich quick kind of things. I don't go after hacks or quick, tactics that are trending. I drive at what are principle based things that are going to give me results year over year, regardless of what happens in technology, regardless of what is happening in the world. And so this is simple. It's not easy. And so it may sound unattractive at first, but I would just encourage you to be open to this and try it for yourself, because not only has it worked for me, but I could name dozens and dozens of close friends that are entrepreneurs that have done this same process or something very similar. So the first thing that I encourage you to do, this especially works well for business to business. I'm going to explain it that way. And I talked about this actually a little bit the other day in another group that I'm a part of on Facebook. But this is especially effective for business to business, but I'll explain how you can essentially do the same thing in business to consumer spaces as well. So first thing is, get yourself an email list of people that are, fit at least as closely as possible into your ideal client avatar. So if there's a specific industry that you like serving, if there's a specific size business, geographic location, there's lots of different list services. And if you want to know about those list services, just comment down below and I'll be able to share those with you, the ones that I use. But you can go out and buy an email list of contacts that fit this type of industry. Maybe they use this type of technology. How many employees do they have? Well, how much revenue are they doing? You can actually just buy an email list or a full contact list, honestly, email, address, phone number, and you can buy that list so that you have somebody to reach out to. In the beginning, when you're starting to do this, all you need to do is buy a couple hundred, a few hundred, maybe even 500 is plenty. Because if you haven't begun this process, you don't need to have thousands of names. Like I said, a few hundred, maybe 500 is plenty. And buy that email list. And then in the email that you send out, you can send a simple message that says, hey, quick question. I want to see if you are looking for help in this area of your business. If so, let's have a conversation. Here's how to get a hold of me. That's a very simple construction of the copy. We help our clients write email copy for cold email outreach and for email campaigns and anything like that. So of course we're here to help you. If you need that, just reach out, but essentially just write a sincere email of how you want to help that person, and send an email to them. And You can use automation or tools for this, or you can just sit down and you can send 10 emails a day, which is not that many. You can use this pretty simple template. You can customize a little bit per business by going to look at their website and seeing what they actually offer and putting some custom information in that email. So it's not just a, copy and paste kind of, spray and pray approach. Sometimes that works. I'm not going to discount it completely, but it's good to actually customize the message and send a personal note to somebody and say, hey, I saw on your website that you offer this service. And so, I have this product or service that I would like to share with you or help you with. Again, there's a lot of copy construction there that we don't have time in this show to go into, but you'll send that email out and send it to, I would say, at least 10 people a day. As you ramp it up, you can get to sending to 50 or 100, you can do more. But if you send to 10 people for today, and then you mark off on your spreadsheet or your data list there that you emailed these 10 people, then that's all you have to do for today. Then the next day, you can send 10 more, just keep doing that process, but also just make 10 phone calls. Follow up and say, hey, the reason I'm calling you is I sent you an email yesterday about my XYZ service or product, and I'm wondering if we can have a conversation about it and see if it would be a good fit for you. What I love about sending an email and then calling is twofold. When done correctly, and you can learn how to do this correctly, it just takes time and practice or bringing in the right partner. Like I said, we help our clients with this. When done correctly, you send an email that somebody may open or engage with, they might reply to. The replies are not going to be really high, but then you have the reason as the sales rep, if it's you or somebody in your business, you now have a reason to call. You have a legitimate reason. You can say, hey, I emailed you yesterday and I'm calling to see if we can talk about this. And so it creates, a good first touch, a light touch. Then you follow up with a call. And then I would encourage you to email them at least once more. Reply to the first message is typically a good approach there. Say, hey, just making sure if you saw this message of mine, and then you call them again the next day. Doing that simple, 2 emails, 2 calls, alternating days process is really effective, and it's simple to manage. Now, if you go through that process for a week, you would have reached out to, around 50 people. Like the numbers stagger, but you'll have reached out to around 50 people. And if you've emailed them and called them, you will have conversations. That's just the way it works. And the numbers for this type of approach, in my experience, are you can get about 3 to 4% of people to engage in a conversation with you. And then out of those, about half, if you have a great product and service and you have something valuable to offer them, about half of those people, around 25% to 50% of the people that you have a conversation with will engage in next steps and buy from you. So again, like around 4% of people will engage and reply. And then of those, 25 to 50%, so 1 to 2 people of those, folks will engage and buy from you. And it's a really sustainable, systematic model. If you're finding that you don't get people to respond to your calls after you've emailed, the other follow-up process that will engage them and typically will tip them over the edge and so that they'll have a conversation with you is getting on social media, finding them on LinkedIn and messaging them and following up there with a great, truly service-based conversation towards them, or Facebook or wherever they are on social media, because that's another touch point. So those are essentially the steps. Send an email, call the next day, send a follow-up email, call the day after that. And then if you're not reaching them, reach out on social media. And if you take this approach, then you're going to be able to consistently have new conversations, and you're going to be able to consistently grow your business. And it just takes blocking time in your calendar, being consistent in that follow-up. And either if you're the founder, the entrepreneur that's bootstrapping and starting, you can block time and do this for yourself. If you have a team, you can teach your business development folks to do something like this. It's really works on multiple levels of the business. And again, it's really what's driven our growth for years. And it works regardless of what's going on in social media, in politics, in the world. Like, it's just a consistent method of just having more conversations and building more relationships. And so that's kind of the main framework of it. Just to speak to the business to consumer side, you can essentially do the same thing through social media. Typically I start with social media there, of reaching out, and the network marketing space is actually really effective in this. And a friend of mine, Ray Higdon, has taught a lot about this over the years. But you can reach out and say in a private message and say, hey, would you be open to learning about XYZ, something that can improve your health, or where you can make extra money, or whatever it is. If you're going business to consumer, just start by friending them on the social platform you're on, sending them a message, and just doing some general follow up there, and then asking for the opportunity to call. It's a similar process, but I'm not going to go super deep there. But essentially, like I said, this is simple. It's not easy because, unfortunately, in a lot of cases with entrepreneurs I've worked with and business owners, and just different folks in organizations, they build up all this fear and anxiety around making phone calls or doing cold outreach. And there's a lot of negative talk about doing cold outreach. But end of the day, all of the top performing salespeople I know and all of the entrepreneurs that have scaled their business have learned how to integrate cold outreach into part of their sales process. So if you need help with this, if you need help with copy, if you need any help on the tech, any of those things, we support our clients in this type of thing. Ultimately, it's going to be your responsible to do the sales. That's not a service we provide, but we can give you all the support and tools to get to having that conversation. So again, it's not simple, or I'm sorry, it's not easy, but it's simple. So just consider how you can be consistent in how you reach out and do something on a daily basis, and that's really what's going to move the needle for you. So thanks for tuning in, and back to you, Jethro.
Thank you, Gabe. And that's it for now on the Engine Builder Show. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for tuning in. We just hit our 10th episode of our daily show today, so that's pretty awesome. Again, we are so grateful that you took the time to listen to Gabe's thoughts and strategies, and we hope it really helped you in your journey to success. If you like what you're hearing, hit that like, follow, and subscribe to be updated on our daily episodes. Again, for unique business marketing solutions, head over to businessmarketingengine.com, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you, everybody.